Longtime followers of this channel know that my tastes are very, let's say, predictable, especially in games. I love me some King of Fighters, Fire Emblem, Dragon Quest, Mega Man, Sonic, and most topically, Ninja Turtles. In June, we got Shredder's Revenge, and at the end of August, Konami released the TMNT Cowabunga collection, which has 13 games on it. That collection I mentioned has one of my all-time favorite beat-em-ups on it, TMNT Turtles in Time, specifically the Super Nintendo version. With Shredder's Revenge now a couple months old, and I've played the game about 30 times now, the question now stands, which game is better? Tonight's video will not only serve as a review of Tribute Games' TMNT magnum opus, but we're also going to debate whether it's better than the king of TMNT games, Turtles in Time. Let's do it. Let's start with the gameplay. Turtles in Time at its core is an arcade game, so there's only two buttons. You got your jump and attack buttons. You tap both buttons for specials, which each turtle having their own unique special. The turtles can run, which allows for a few variations in combat. During a run, you can mash the jump button to perform a somersault and a cool slide attack if you mash the Y button at the end of it. Additionally, there are two attacks you can perform that serve as follow-up attacks after a shoulder tackle. The multi-slam grab, performed by pressing Y after a shoulder tackle. I nicknamed this move the Goro, or for you younger viewers, the Hulk. Who can forget the iconic screen throw, performed by pressing forward and Y after the shoulder tackle? If you want to get deeper into the damage statistics and each turtle's varying in damage values and walk speeds, resources like speedrunners.com go and get into the specifics. Outside of the properties, each turtle pretty much controls the same. Shredder's Revenge, on the other hand, goes ham with the move list. Not to say that it's complex, but I would say that there's a lot more creative freedom with combos this time around. Not only that, but this is arguably the first 2D TMNT game where each turtle feels legitimately different. There are a whopping 22 moves that all 7 characters can do within the game. There are some attacks that derive from Turtles in Time even. The Turtles, April, Casey, and Splinter all have unique supers, a standing super, aerial super, and a mid-dodge super. The devs at Tribute Games must have had a lot of Capcom arcade cabinets in their offices because there's quite a few Street Fighter references going on in this game. Another mechanic that was included in Shredder's Revenge was the addition of taunts. The purpose of taunts was to replenish your super meter. Each character's taunt speed varies, Raph's being the best and Leo's being the worst. When you're playing in multiplayer, especially with 5 other people, taunts can pretty much trivialize the entire game with every character regaining their super meter every few seconds, pretty much obliterating everything on screen before the enemies have a chance to spawn. Yeah, the devs probably should have thought about that one. Shredder's Revenge also has online play, which I still haven't tried. I've heard the connections are okay, but not great. I'll try one day, maybe. Probably not. Overall, I grew up with Turtles in Time. Is it as mechanically as deep as Streets of Rage, Final Fight, or a River City game? No. Is it as flashy as Double Dragon Neon or the Konami X-Men beat 'em up? Nope. It's still really fun to play in 2022. With that said, I'd argue that Shredder's Revenge is still way better. Turtles in Time at its core is an arcade beat 'em up, so it doesn't really allow a lot of room for variety with each character. Shredder's Revenge, on the other hand, you get a completely different experience gameplay-wise depending on which character you play as. Leo plays nothing like Raph, who plays nothing like Donnie, and so on. Any game that allows me to play as April O'Neil doing Chun-Li moves will always get the nod in my book. Shredder's Revenge wins in the gameplay department. Turtles in Time, the SNES version, came out in 1992, which was pretty much the apex of Turtle Mania in the States. The Hall of Lost Legends Mirage comic came out, a slew of TMNT figures came out that year, TMNT Secret of the Ooze came out the year before, and that other Turtles in Time that we don't talk about will come out the following year. To me personally, the one TMNT product that was the closest to the 1989 cartoon was Turtles in Time. The sprites were bigger and more detailed than they've ever been. The stages are incredibly bright and colorful. There's even some sick Mode 7 effects added to the Super Nintendo version. Also, if I'm correct, this was the first TMNT game where the Turtles actually spoke in it. Although I'm not sure how much of a powerhouse of voice acting you consider one dude saying, my toes, aw shell shock and cowabunga would be. It was a big deal in 1992. Turtles in Time's soundtrack lives rent-free in my head though. Kumiko Ogawa and the rest of the Konami sound team put out a slew of bangers that have stuck in my head since I was a little kid. Tracks like Big Apple, 3 AM, Technodrome, Let's Kick Shell, Going Up, and one of my personal favorites, Neon Knight Riders. Aw yeah, great soundtrack, simpler times. Now I know this is a bit of an unfair comparison considering that the former is a home port of an arcade game from 1991, and the other is a comprehensive love letter to TMNT fans released on multiple platforms in 2022. Tribute Games has beautifully crafted sprites, gorgeous stages, and they even brought in the original TMNT voice cast from 1987, including Cam Clark, Townsend Coleman, Barry Gordon, and Rob Paulson, to reprise their roles as the Turtles. But let's talk about the soundtrack. T-Lopes, most well known for composing the soundtrack to Sonic Mania and pretty much every other indie game you probably played on Steam, absolutely kills it on this soundtrack. I can't think of one song in this OST that I don't like. Where do I begin? Picking only a handful of songs was really hard, considering I like this entire soundtrack, but here's a few examples of some bangers. Jaw-Breaking News, Mall Meltdown, super good. Crisis at Coney Island. For the first time in TMNT beat-em-up history, Shredder's Revenge features vocal songs and stages. Examples include Mutants Over Broadway, composed by a friend of the channel, Anton Corazza.
Faster than bebop, Gillespie with the technique. Y'all like one-on-one shoot. Mikey take 100 plus some with the nunchuck. Leonardo cut him up. Donnie, he the smartest. He gon' teach whoever dumb enough to rap. Just asking. Satachi or the uppercut. What's up? Hey, hey, rolling on Broadway. Hey, hey, rolling on Broadway. Hey, hey, rolling on Broadway. Rolling on Broadway. I can do this all day. Hey, hey, rolling on Broadway.
Johnny Atma's Panic in the Sky, which sounds like something straight out of a 80s surf movie.
Surf's up in the city. I'm fired up and I'm feeling gritty. Fists rumble in the air like thunder. This battle ride's gonna take you under. Like a shooting star blazing through the skies. And the fire burning in my eyes. Catching up to you, I'm bringing on the fire. Gonna blow you up like dynamite. Hey, blow up like dynamite.
And unbelievably, Tribute Games called up Raekwon and Ghostface Killah of Wu-Tang to compose Shredder's theme called We Ain't Came to Lose. It is the best song in the game.
Nice to meet you, now I'm here to beat you with full force. Mess up your facial features. Hasta la vista, I'm selling all y'all little Caesars. All y'all stuff your face with is pizza. Pizza crack like a hard-boiled egg on Easter. See these muscles on me? I could beat your teacher. I'll defeat Leonardo, y'all become the weakest. I take off all of your mass and dismantle your features. Shredder, I cross the line like a letter. Smash all of you turtles, put you back together. Indeed, I squish turtles like a tight girdle. Any obstacle, I clear it like a high hurdle. My stomach cringes for all of you fake ninjas. Fighting you are winless, show you what revenge is. Diabolical move, strike with mad vengeance. Ask Splinter, he know I'm coming with bad intentions. We ain't came to lose. Came to lose. We ain't came to lose. We ain't came to lose. Came to lose. We ain't came to lose. We ain't came to lose. Came to lose. We ain't came to lose. We ain't came to lose. Came to lose. We ain't came to lose.
I know what you're thinking. The obvious choice would be to give it to Shredder's Revenge in the music department. I will admit I still have major nostalgia bias towards the Turtles in Time soundtrack. I grew up with those songs. This is going to be controversial, but I'm going to give both games a point. There's a tie in the music department. There, I said it. Now for the most subjective question of them all. Which game is more fun? I can say off the bat that both games are really fun. I enjoy both games for different reasons. I've played through Turtles in Time legitimately thousands of times. I consider myself a speedrunner of the game and I also grew up playing it. It's my comfort game that I consider simultaneously simple and complex. It's one of my all-time favorite beat-em-ups on the same caliber as Streets of Rage 2, Final Fight 3, and River City Girls. With that said, the game sometimes does feel very dated. The complexity of the game comes from exploiting glitches and tech discovered from speedrunners. This could be somewhat of a nitpick too, but Turtles in Time is also a very short game, which is expected considering it's a port of an arcade game. The sprite work on the Turtles can look a bit rough despite what I said earlier in the video. Oh, and one more thing, Hyperstone Heist fans, you know who you are. I will admit the Turtles sprites in that game do look a little bit more detailed and expressive than they do in Turtles in Time. There, I threw you a bone, don't expect any more. I will say that Turtles in Time is a bit of a hard sell for a new beat-em-up player. It's kind of hard to argue that game over Shredder's Revenge in this day and age. Shredder's Revenge, on the other hand, feels like a natural evolution of the original arcade game, the Manhattan Project, and Turtles in Time. There's a lot of combo freedom, and each character feels incredibly different while at the same time the controls are very streamlined. I love how all the stages feel just distinct and unique in their own way. Also, Shredder's Revenge has the best soundtrack in 2022. I don't want to hear it. I'll fight you. I don't care. Your Elden Rings and your Cyberpunk 2077s don't have Wu-Tang in it.
But when it comes to the children, Wu-Tang is for the children. We teach the children. You know what I mean?
I give tribute games a lot of credit for so many deep cuts as far as characters that appear in the game via cameos, like the Neutrinos and the Punk Frogs and even Tempestra. Who remembers Tempestra?
What happened?
My attack too much for you, Leonardo?
Tempestra, you're alive.
Yes, Leonardo.
Tempestra's from a really stupid episode of the cartoon, but then again, like, most of the ones from the '89 cartoon are stupid, so, but I love it, regardless. To wrap up, yes, Shredder's Revenge is clearly the better game. With that said, I still highly recommend any TMNT fans or fans of beat-em-ups or retro games in general to play Turtles in Time, the SNES version more so than the arcade version. Also, while I'm at it, I think you should try out Hyperstone Heist. It's like Turtles in Time, but not exactly. It's kind of like the Mega Drive / Genesis's ROM hack equivalent. It's weird, but it's fun. Definitely try that out. Moral of the video, buy Shredder's Revenge. Also buy the Cowabunga collection. Matter of fact, play TMNT Cross Justice League Turbo as well. My friends worked on it, it's pretty cool. It's great, it's the closest thing you're gonna get to Tournament Fighters too. Oh yeah, and Rescue Palooza, that game's awesome too. Just play Ninja Turtles games in 2022. It's a good year for them green boys. You love to see it. Thanks for watching. This is the first proper video I put out since May, so it's about a 5-month gap. A lot happened. I moved, so that was really took up most of my time. I'm gonna be doing more videos like this. The extended review / video essay style stuff. This is kind of what I wanted to do for a while now, so this is gonna be the first foray into that. The Let's Plays aren't gonna go anywhere. I'm still gonna be doing that, but not as much. And what am I gonna be doing next? The next review, I kind of want to review Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. Clocked in maybe 120 something hours into the game now. I'm close to beating the game twice, so I think I'm qualified to talk about it now a little bit, you know, review. And gameplay, next Let's Play, I might do, there's 2 Sonic fan games I want to draw some attention to that haven't gotten enough love, I don't feel like. So yeah, that's going to be the game plan for the next, probably for the rest of the year, I guess. Thanks for watching, guys.